Hello. Today we're going to speak about Australia's geography and about some interesting natural attractions that exist in Australia. Australia is both a continent and a country. The continent lies about 2,000 miles southeast of Asia and is surrounded by the Pacific Ocean on the east and the Indian Ocean on the west. The country lies in the southern hemisphere. Australians refer to themselves as living in the land down under because their country is on the lower part of the globe. Australia consists of 6 states: New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia, Tasmania, Victoria and Western Australia, 3 internal territories: the Australian Capital Territory, the Jervis Bay Territory and the Northern Territory, and 7 external territories: Ashmore and Cartier Islands, the Australian Antarctic Territory, Christmas Island and the Cocos-Keeling Islands, the Coral Sea Islands, Heard Island and McDonald Islands, and Norfolk Island. In total, there are 10 territories in Australia, with internal territories being on the Australian mainland and external territories being sovereign territories offshore. Every state and internal territory, excluding the Jervis Bay Territory, has its own executive government, legislative branch, and also judicial system. The flag has 3 elements on a blue background: the Union Jack, the Commonwealth Star, and the Southern Cross. The Union Jack in the upper left corner represents the history of British settlement on the territory of Australia. Below the Union Jack is a white Commonwealth or Federation Star. It has 7 points representing the unity of the 6 states and the territories of the Commonwealth of Australia. The star is also featured on the Commonwealth coat of arms. The Southern Cross is shown on the flag in white. It is a constellation of 5 stars that can only be seen from the southern hemisphere and is a reminder of Australia's geography. In 1901, Australia's first Prime Minister, Sir Edmund Barton, announced an international competition to design a flag for the new Commonwealth of Australia. There were 32,823 entries, and 5 nearly identical entries were awarded equal first. The 5 joint winners came from different parts of the community, and they shared a £200 prize. On 3 September 1901, the Prime Minister announced the 5 joint winners of the competition, and the key elements of their designs were used to create the new flag for the Commonwealth of Australia. The joint winners were Annie Dorrington, who was a well-known artist from Perth, Eva Evans, a 14-year-old Melbourne schoolboy whose father owned a flag-making business, Leslie Hawkins, an 18-year-old from Leichhardt in Sydney who was apprenticed to a Sydney optician at the time, Egbert Nuttall, an architect with Melbourne and Metropolitan Board of Works, and William Stevens, a first officer with the Union Steamship Company of New Zealand. The flag was flown for the first time on the 3rd of September 1901 at the Exhibition Building in Melbourne, which was then the seat of the federal government. In this original design, the stars of the Southern Cross had different numbers of points to signify their brightness. Australia also has the coat of arms, and it has rather a long history. The first Commonwealth coat of arms. King Edward VII first officially granted of a coat of arms to the Commonwealth of Australia on the 7th of May 1908. The first coat of arms, as you can see in the picture, was a simple shield of white and blue. On the shield there was the cross of St. George with 5 6-pointed white stars along the cross and 6 small shields around the edge of the shield. The shield was supported by a kangaroo and an emu standing on a grassy mound, and above the shield was the crest, containing the 7-pointed gold star of Federation on a wreath of white and blue. The motto "Advance Australia" was inscribed at the base of the grassy mound. The second Commonwealth coat of arms. King George V granted the second Commonwealth coat of arms dated 19th of September 1912, which includes a blazon or official description of the Commonwealth coat of arms, so the coat of arms can be reproduced in any part of the world. The 1912 coat of arms is the official Commonwealth coat of arms. The second Commonwealth coat of arms was designed because the original coat of arms didn't make any reference to the states. As you can see on the picture, the modern Commonwealth coat of arms has the following. The center of the shield includes symbols of Australia's 6 states, and the border of the shield symbolizes federation. The shield is held up by the native Australian animals, the kangaroo and the emu, which were chosen to symbolize a nation moving forward, based on the fact that neither animal can move backwards easily. A 7-point gold Commonwealth star sits above the shield. 6 of the star's points represent the Australian state, and the 7th point represents the territories. A wreath of gold and blue sits under the Commonwealth star. Gold and blue are the Commonwealth coat of arms livery or identifying colors. Australia's floral emblem, the golden wattle, frames the shield and the kangaroo and emu, and at the bottom of the shield you will see a scroll containing the word Australia. If we speak about Australia's climate, it varies across the continent. Australia is south of the equator, which makes the seasons opposite of those in North America. Summers are from December to March, winters are from June to September. Northern Australia has a tropical climate and it is warm to hot all year long. It gets more rain than other parts of the country. Desert is the largest part of Australia. Little rain falls in the central part of the country. Only the southeast and southwest corners have a temperate climate. Summers that are not too hot and winters that are not too cold. That is the most desirable climate. Most Australians live in the southeast coast. If we speak about the great cities of Australia, the capital city is Canberra, and some of the significant urban areas by the number of population are the following: Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, Adelaide, Gold Coast, and Newcastle. Some of the most famous geographical features which make Australia world famous are the first one, the Coral Sea. It's off the northeast coast of Australia. It is also the part of the Pacific Ocean. When the Earth crust moved millions of years ago, it created the Coral Sea and the Great Dividing Range. It is the largest mountain range in Australia. Coral Sea Islands are scattered over thousands of miles of ocean. No one lives on the islands except for a small group of weather specialists. The second great geographical feature which makes Australia world famous is Great Barrier Reef. This is the world's largest coral reef. It is over 1,200 miles long. It lies off the northeast coast of Queensland in the Coral Sea. It contains an amazing variety of marine life, including the world's largest collection of coral. 400 types of coral, 1,500 species of fish, and 4,000 mollusks such as snails, clams, octopi, and squid can be found here. It is also the home to rare species like the sea cow and the large green turtle. Ayers Rock is also one of the greatest natural attractions in Australia. It is a huge reddish rock in the center of Australia. It's located very close to the geographical center of the continent. It's a monolith, which is a single large rock sticking out of the earth. It appears reddish because its iron content rusts at the surface. It's nearly 12 stories high and almost 6 miles wide. And the last but not the least important natural attraction which I'm going to tell you in this video is Great Victoria Desert. The first Europeans to cross the desert named it after British Queen Victoria in 1875. It's 160,000 miles long and is a protected wilderness area. Very few Australians live here because it is too hot and very dry. The desert stretches through the states of South Australia and Western Australia. It receives only 8 to 10 inches of rain each year, and it never snows. There are some grasslands in the desert along with the sand hills. And after this presentation, I'm going to show you 2 videos about the above-mentioned great places, natural places in Australia. They will be the Ayers Rock, or you will hear the second name of this place in the video. You will see this second name. And it will be the Coral Sea and the Great Barrier Reef in particular. I hope you will enjoy these videos a lot.